Elon Musk just confirmed April 2026 for CyberCab mass production, and at least 20 units are already driving on U.S. streets right now, with two of them having zero steering wheel, zero pedals. While Waymo burns over $100,000 per vehicle, Tesla's building these for under $30,000 and operating at 18 cents per mile. That's 10 times cheaper than Waymo's $2 plus cost structure. But here's what nobody's asking. Can a car that gives you zero control actually be safer than human drivers? Or is this the biggest transportation gamble in history? Look, I've been covering Tesla for years, and what happened last week in Austin genuinely shocked me. Two cybercabs, both completely stripped of steering wheels and pedals, driving through downtown traffic at the same time. Not in some controlled test environment. Not at 3 a.m. on empty streets. During actual rush hour with real people crossing streets, making unpredictable moves, doing all the chaotic things humans do. And here's what hit me watching that footage. Tesla's not testing anymore. They're validating. There's at least 18 other cybercabs quietly racking up miles across Austin and Fremont right now, most still with temporary steering wheels because insurance and regulations demand it. But those two units without any controls? That's Tesla saying, the software is ready and we're proving it. Then came the footage that made my jaw drop. 16 cybercabs lined up at Giga, Texas with deployed airbags and crumpled frames. Most companies hide their crash tests like state secrets. Tesla's basically posting them on Instagram. Why? Because while Waymo's been creeping forward with remote operators ready to grab control at the first sign of trouble, Tesla's literally crashing vehicles into walls to prove they can protect passengers when there's nobody who can grab a steering wheel that doesn't exist. Think about the confidence that takes. Each crashed vehicle costs probably $50,000 between manufacturing and testing. That's $800,000 worth of destroyed cybercabs just sitting there. You don't do that unless you're absolutely certain about your April 2026 timeline, and you need NHTSA to see the proof. Now let's talk about why Waymo executives are probably having some very uncomfortable board meetings right now. Their vehicles cost over $100,000 each to put on the road. They're buying Jaguars, then bolting on sensor arrays that look like they raided a Best Buy. Tesla's building cybercabs for under $30,000. Not similar vehicles. The exact same product from a consumer perspective. An autonomous ride from point A to point B. I keep coming back to this number because it's absolutely devastating. Waymo needs to charge 3 times what Tesla charges just to break even on hardware costs before we even talk about operations, insurance, or maintenance. And Tesla's already proven they can sell Model Ys profitably at $40,000, which is a bigger, more complex vehicle with premium features the cybercab doesn't need. But what really keeps me up at night is the manufacturing reality. Tesla can crank out millions of vehicles annually across their gigafactories. Waymo modifies purchased vehicles in limited batches. Even if Google opened the money vault and said spare no expense, building factories to match Tesla's production capacity would take 5 to 7 years minimum. By then, Tesla's already won. Here's the question I can't stop asking. What's Waymo's endgame when their competitor makes vehicles for 1/3 the cost and can produce them 1,000 times faster? The 2-seat design is where I think most critics completely miss the point. Everyone screams, why not add 2 more seats? Like Tesla's just being cheap. But look at actual rideshare data. Over 90% of trips have 1 passenger. Another 8% have 2. A 2-seater handles 98% of demand. Every extra kilogram in weight means more energy per mile, and when vehicles are driving 100,000 miles a year, those pennies compound into millions of dollars across a fleet. Tesla didn't make the cybercab small to save money. They made it optimal. The narrow body cuts drag. The minimized weight improves efficiency everywhere. Even the wheel sizing with larger rears is about traction and stability without excess material. The result? Energy costs around 3 to 5 cents per mile versus 12 cents for gas taxis. Multiply that across 2 million vehicles by 2030. Tesla's not saving money. They're building an economic moat so wide nobody can compete even if they wanted to. Because here's the truth that destroys traditional thinking. Once RoboTaxis hit acceptable safety and wait times, price becomes everything. The company offering the cheapest rides while staying profitable captures the entire market. Everyone expected massive batteries in these things. Tesla went the opposite direction with an estimated 50 kilowatt hours, giving 200 to 250 miles of range. Sounds limiting until you realize these aren't road tripping to Vegas. They're running city loops, constantly circling back to chargers between rides. And here's where Tesla's KATL partnership changes the game. 10 to 15-minute full charges. A CyberCab finishes a ride, drives itself to a charger, plugs itself in, no human needed, and returns to service faster than a driver's coffee break. Fleet utilization could hit 90% versus traditional taxis sitting idle half the day. The automated charging isn't a luxury feature. It's mandatory. A car with no steering wheel can't ask humans to plug it in. Tesla's building wireless charging where vehicles drive over induction pads and charge without touching anything. The entire energy cycle runs itself. Smaller batteries also slash the biggest cost in EV manufacturing. Less battery capacity means lower production costs per vehicle, which enables faster fleet expansion. When you're planning to build millions of these, every dollar matters. But I'll be honest about my concern. What happens during peak demand when hundreds of cybercabs fight for charging spots while passengers wait? Tesla's betting their infrastructure scales with the fleet. That's never been proven at this magnitude. This connects to the real battle. Waymo memorizes specific streets with HD maps and sensor arrays. Works great in Phoenix, where they've spent years mapping every detail. But when traffic lights fail or construction changes layouts, Waymo vehicles freeze. I've seen the videos, cars blocking intersections, completely lost because something unexpected happened. Tesla teaches vehicles how to drive in general, not how to navigate specific routes. FSD version 13 trained on billions of miles from the global fleet. The difference? Waymo needs months to map a new city before deployment. Tesla could theoretically deploy anywhere immediately because the system doesn't depend on pre-made maps. This is simultaneously Tesla's biggest advantage and their most dangerous vulnerability. Waymo's approach is limited but predictable. Tesla's approach scales infinitely but depends entirely on software handling situations it's never seen before. If FSD fails publicly in a cybercab without a steering wheel, the regulatory backlash could set the entire industry back a decade. Here's what most coverage missed. Within 6 to 12 months, you can add your personal Tesla to the RoboTaxi network. Your Model 3 earns money while you're at work. Tesla takes 30%, you keep 70%. If your car generates $300 monthly, it's paying its own financing. But the strategic genius goes deeper. Every private Tesla joining the network expands Tesla's fleet without building new vehicles. Waymo must purchase and deploy every car. Tesla scales by recruiting owners. The advantage compounds exponentially. For non-owners, Tesla's reportedly planning $200 monthly subscriptions for unlimited rides. Urban dwellers currently spend $400 to $600 monthly on Uber, parking, and insurance. Car ownership could become financially irrational within 5 years. My honest take? Revolutionary model, but unsolved questions. When your personal Tesla operating as a RoboTaxi crashes, who's liable? You, Tesla, or the passenger? These legal frameworks don't exist yet. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Vehicles without steering wheels face massive regulatory hurdles. Federal safety standards assume human control exists as backup. A car that physically cannot be controlled by humans is uncharted territory. Tesla's betting demonstrated safety data overrides regulatory caution. The crash tests, road testing, validation, it's all building the case that FSD is statistically safer than humans. But one high-profile accident could flip public opinion overnight and evaporate regulatory approval instantly. Moving slowly through approvals, legally safer but operationally slower. Tesla removed the ability for human intervention entirely. That's either visionary or reckless, and we won't know which until April 2026. Which brings us to the final question. Is April 2026 real? That's 130 days away. Tesla needs NHTSA certification for a configuration no manufacturer has ever achieved in U.S. history. They need to validate FSD across thousands of edge cases. They need to scale production for a vehicle unlike anything they built. Waymo took over 5 years to reach a few hundred vehicles in limited areas. Either Tesla's been working on approvals behind closed doors for years, or April 2026 will slip to late 2026 or 2027. The crash testing suggests they're serious. You don't destroy 16 vehicles unless you're committed. But serious doesn't mean ready. My honest assessment? Limited production starts April 2026, but mass production at 2 million annually won't hit until 2027 or 2028. Regulatory approvals will come with geographic restrictions initially. The economic advantages are real and will eventually overwhelm competitors, but the path will be messier than Elon's timeline suggests. The real question isn't whether the technology is ready. It's whether society, regulations, and consumers are ready for vehicles that give passengers zero control. That gap between capability and acceptance is where the next 24 months will be won or lost. So here's the answer to that opening question. Tesla's not gambling on removing human control. They're betting that software consistency beats human unpredictability every single time. And with 20 cybercabs already operating on real streets without steering wheels, the data's proving them right. This is exactly why April 2026 matters so much. It's not just another product launch. It's the moment transportation economics flip completely. When rides cost 18 cents per mile instead of $2, Waymo's entire business model collapses. When your Tesla earns $300 monthly while you work, car ownership pays for itself. When cities realize parking lots can become housing because vehicles never stop moving, urban planning changes forever. And here's what keeps this story explosive. We're 130 days from finding out if Tesla actually pulls this off or hits a regulatory wall that delays everything by years. Either way, the autonomous vehicle race just entered its final lap, and only one company's building vehicles at scale for under $30,000 that operate at 18 cents per mile. Now I want to hear from you. When the first cybercab without a steering wheel pulls up offering you a ride for 50 cents, are you getting in or waiting until a million other people test it first? Drop your honest take in the comments below. If this breakdown gave you a clearer picture of what's actually happening with Tesla's RoboTaxi strategy, hit that like button. Subscribe to Tesla Zone for deep analysis on every major Tesla development. We cut through the hype and show you the real engineering and economics driving these breakthroughs. And turn on notifications so you catch our next video breaking down Tesla's next major move. Because whether it's April 2026 or late 2027, autonomous transportation just shifted from future concept to present reality. And we're covering every single development as it happens. In 2026, dealers are watching $20,000 used cars collect dust on their lots. Buyers show up, inspect vehicles, negotiate prices, then walk away. Not because the cars are bad, not because they found better deals elsewhere. They're waiting for Tesla's Model 2, a car that doesn't even exist yet. Here's what's brutal. Tesla announced a $25,000 electric vehicle, and suddenly every used Corolla, Accord, and Civic in the $16,000 to $24,000 range became questionable. Buyers are asking themselves one simple question that's destroying the used car market. Why buy old when I can wait for new Tesla? And that hesitation is costing dealers thousands per vehicle. How did a car that hasn't launched kill an entire price segment? Let me take you back 3 years, because that's when the first cracks appeared. Back in 2023, if you walked into any dealership and said a Tesla would hold 65% of its value after 3 years, the salesman would have laughed in your face. Everyone knew EVs were depreciation disasters. Look at the 2018 Nissan Leaf.